Opening. 3 pictures appear. One is of a woman giving a presentation behind a podium. Another photograph depicts 2 people engaged in a conversation. The other photograph is of a man explaining something to another man. The title reads Access Ed Project 2008 2-Day Symposium. Title transition to the next sequence of text. Access Ed Conference on Universal Design in Higher Education and Beyond. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, September 25th and 26th, 2008. Keynote speaker, Cheryl Bergstaller. Plenary, Universality of Captioning, Virginia Shivarina. Video fades to black. Beyond the ADA, Accessibility and Usability, Cheryl Bergstaller. Dr. Bergstaller standing behind a podium talking to the audience.
Okay, so let's just stop for a minute and talk about what this actually means, this title of this talk, and I'll at least tell you what I think it means. We need to look beyond architecture when we're thinking about things like appearance. So not the architect obviously deals with appearance too, but what you can do in a facility that you didn't build. And so my main focus is on what things do we have control over. And sometimes you'll see you have more control over things than you realize. But there are fixtures, furniture in a facility, entrances, routes of travel outside and inside, information resources, information technology, and then safety. So we'll talk about all these things a little bit. And as I mentioned, we want to talk beyond ADA compliance. A talk like this would be really easy to give if we just talked about, well, what are the requirements of the ADA? What are the accessibility requirements? How wide should that door be? And how high should that desk or sound counter be? And I'm actually intentionally going to avoid that, although some of the things that I talk about obviously relate to that. But there are a lot of nice resources on the internet. One of them is referenced in your publication. It's called the Checklist for Existing Facilities, ADA Compliance Materials. And it's just a nice checklist of things that you can get started with. Again, I don't want to focus on ADA. It's too easy for me to slip into that. But I also like to emphasize it's a good place to start with some requirements under ADA. But then for universal design, as you'll see as we progress a little further in this, you need to think a lot more broadly than that. So that's not enough. We should make all of our facilities ADA compliant, but that's not what we're here talking about today. We're talking about how to make things accessible and usable and welcoming to everyone, not just people with disabilities. So we want our spaces to be welcoming, accessible, usable. By welcoming, I mean inclusive, so everyone feels included, and that would be everyone who might use that space. Your handouts have, first of all, we have a book in there, which is Universal Design of Higher Education, From Principles to Practice. And that book, I'm co-editor of that book, has 41 different authors in it, talking about universal design in higher education. They talk about the facilities and instruction, that's the largest portion of it, and also student services and technology. And so these handouts that you have are related to that in that they have checklists. We didn't, in the Do It program, initially want to have checklists, but everybody wants checklists. And, I don't want it to look that simple, but on the other hand, it's nice to give people a place to start if they're trying to universally design a facility or service or whatever. And then the last handout in that packet is about the project that we're funded over, like through the Department of Education, which is like your Access Ed here. So Do It was mentioned. I did start the Do It program in 1992, and named it Do It, which stands for Disabilities, Opportunities, Internetworking, and Technology. So you can see there's a technology focus, but a very positive, proactive approach. And we have a very simple goal. We want to increase the success of students with disabilities in academic programs and careers using technology as an empowering tool. So we don't always use technology in everything we use, but we always ask the question, what role can technology play in doing this thing, whether it's mentoring or academic work or whatever? So we work on a number of things. We're actually trying to chip away at accessibility from 3 angles. One is preparation. We work with students who have disabilities and help them be prepared to be successful in a very inaccessible world sometimes. So we need them to have self-determination skills, self-advocacy, so that they can be prepared for academic programs and careers. Then we work on access. We might work with Microsoft on helping them make products more accessible to students with disabilities. We actually, some of the students that work in our program and that are part of our participant pool, they actually test Microsoft products and look for bugs, accessibility errors, and so forth. And Microsoft has enhanced some of its products because of their feedback. And then acceptance is something that we always do. How can we get to a world, how can we realize the vision where in a school setting, students with disabilities are accepted equally with their peers, by their teachers. Same in a post-secondary environment. And then employment, where coworkers and supervisors will look at a person who has a disability as an equal participant in everything that they do. And they'll focus on their strengths rather than some challenges they might be experiencing because of a disability. So we do programs for children and youth. Dennis was talking about some of the programs we do for kids. And we work with K-12 teachers, and we work with post-secondary faculty and administrators. That's kind of this sort of audience primarily. And we work with employers and student service providers. So our goal is real simple, and the things that we're trying to do is we want everyone who qualifies for these things, employment, courses, activities, services, events, whatever it is, anyone who's qualified to be part of whatever we're doing. It could be parents, teachers, students, community members, employees. They should feel welcome in what we're doing. They should be able to participate fully and comfortably and efficiently and interact with other people in the program. Your publications have this resource on them, and so you don't need to take any notes or anything. The URL I'll put up here. But draw your attention to one of the resources that we have on our DUO website that's related to what we're talking about today. And that is our Center for Universal Design and Education, where we talk about how to make technology, physical spaces, services, courses accessible to students with disabilities. Okay.
The R2D2 Center logo appears. Below reads, "Copy and distribute freely, but use in its entirety and do not alter. Access Ed Project, copyright 2009, Rehabilitation, Research, Design, and Disability, R2D2 Center." Please visit us at access-ed.r2d2.uwm.edu. The Access Ed project is supported in part by the U.S. Department of Education's Office of Post-Secondary Education, PR Award number P33A050090. The Access Ed documents contained in this video are those of the grantee and do not necessarily reflect directly on the U.S. Department of Education.